On this episode of the Mompreneur Show, I'm interviewing Amy McLaren, a wife to an entrepreneur and mom of two beautiful children, one of which they recently adopted, and a creator of a charity called World Teacher Aid. And it's a charity that goes out to third world countries and builds schools for less privileged children. I'm your host, Vicky, and this is the show that features amazing stories of the most remarkable mompreneurs. Thank you so much for joining us. Amy, thank you so much for coming on the Mompreneur Show.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Amy, let's start with introducing yourself and how did you get where you are today?
Sure. Well, one thing for sure, I wasn't always a mom to two awesome children, and I wasn't always a founder of a charity or any of that or involved in the internet in any way. So, it's been a while. I've been working with my husband and everything and helping him. And then the idea for the charity really came because I'm a bit of an obsessed traveler. I love traveling. Like I've been to 38 countries and I'm always planning like 3 or 4 trips ahead because I want to hit so many countries and stuff. And when I travel, I don't get me wrong. I love spas. I love all inclusives. Like what mom doesn't like to be pampered with no kids around and have time to yourself. But I really like getting off that beaten path and getting involved in the community and seeing how a country really is. Not like glossy, pretty pictures they put in a book. I kind of want to see how they live and get relationships within that country. So I did a lot of volunteering overseas, and I lived with a Thai family for 6 weeks in Thailand and all kinds of stuff. And I really saw how far a dollar goes, and also saw so many kids that loved going to school, but couldn't afford to go, or they were walking like crazy distances in bare feet to get to school. So that kind of always stayed with me every time I traveled. And I just found that I really was curious and wanted to help. So we did a bit of that traveling. And then at that time, Oprah, who obviously everybody just adores, her show was on the Oprah Big Give. Do you remember that show? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I loved watching that show, and I probably cried like I do when I'm at the airport on there so many times. And I said to my husband one night several years ago, I said, you know what, I really would love to do something like Oprah and Oprah's Big Give and go help a community that, you know, I've seen that needs help. So I said, if you can figure out how to raise the money, I'll coordinate the trip and then we'll figure it out. So long story short, our first trip was to El Salvador. And then from then it's just grown to what it is today, where we focus in Kenya with the schools. So.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay. So let's track back just a little bit.
Yeah.
So how long ago was this when you told your husband, I will do the traveling and book the traveling, you figure out how to get the money?
He calls me bossy, but I don't think I'm that bossy. We've had the charity officially for 5 years. I think it was about 7 years ago. Yeah, and we did it through first a webinar. A teleseminar. So it wasn't face-to-face. It was all through the phone through a teleseminar. And we got several of his friends that were known in the industry at that time to share their thoughts about the upcoming views for the following year and what would be, you know, in for the internet and how you can make more money online next year and all their kind of insights. Yeah. So they shared their time, and in return, people paid for to be on that call, and then the money went to the charity. Mm-hmm. So in 3 days, we raised about $14,000, which for somebody that's, you know, doing fundraisers like golf tournaments and stuff, like it's pretty crazy to raise that much money in such a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we did it, and we went down to El Salvador, helped a school there, helped some orphanages. And then that's when he kind of said to me, you know, I kind of get now what you've been talking about for years. He likes to travel, don't get me wrong. Not as much as I do. But yeah, so that's where it started. And then the next year we did the same thing, and we raised $45,000. And at that time we were running it through our Stu's business. So we were paying taxes on everything. And I said, we can't keep doing this. Like, I really want to do it, but it's like, we need to start moving with the paperwork. So that's when we started the paperwork for the charity. And It took about 2 years to get official status in Canada. It's really hard to get status. So we got our status, and then now we focus mainly in Kenya where we build our schools. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's all I can say. But there's so many questions that come up about the story and how everything just moved together and how you work together. It's incredible. So your husband, Stu, already had contacts in the online space. He was already in the online space. Was he in maybe Wishlist member at that time?
No, this was even before Wishlist member. I'm aging my husband now. He won't like this. No. He was an affiliate manager for Armin Morin, who still does a lot of fun stuff today. Alex Mendozian, and who was John Childers at a time was a real estate investor who was actually the dad to Tracy.
I met John.
Yeah. So he was one of the first mentors for Stu and I.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's like even before Wishlist. So that was and then Wishlist started with Tracy.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, so it all kind of like, in a weird way, connects all together from people we met and made relationships with. And that's what it really is. I mean, at the end of the day, it's really based on relationships that we've had and grown over the last few years.
I completely agree, because let me ask you this. If you didn't have those relationships when you were just starting your charity, that idea, would you be where you are now?
I don't think so. No, I think I would have been somewhere. Like I'm pretty determined. I'm a determined person, but those relationships definitely helped move the charity forward, and they believed in us and what Stu and I wanted to do. And thanks to their belief, it kind of jetted or helped the charity jet forward a bit more. But,
so have you ever had any other charity or anybody else doing what you did with the telesummit, and maybe in today's age would probably be like a webinar? Has anybody been doing that, or did you just come up with the idea?
I don't know. I imagine there probably is. When we started, I felt like it was a pretty new idea. We like to think out of the box because, I mean, I've done galas and all that kind of stuff, but when you think out of the box and different ideas, I think it attracts more attention, and you're providing value for those people that are donating, not only on a feel-good sense that they got to listen to those recordings and learn, but also that the money is going to a good cause.
Very interesting. And did you put it up front, like the 100% of these profits go here, or how did you word it a specific way?
Yeah, so definitely the leaders then, are the experts that we interviewed. They all donated their time for the cause, and they sent out emails and advertised it within their groups or their circle, which draw more people to the cause. And they donated their time. My husband and I donate our time to the charity. And so at the end of the day, aside from getting them transcribed, 100% of it went into where it should go.
Amazing. That's amazing. So you mentioned galas.
Galas. My husband likes galas. My husband likes to. We don't do them as much anymore because we don't make as much money off them compared to what we do now for fundraising. But we would do fancy dinners and fun, auctions. So we'd auction off things from the community.
So okay, that's really interesting. So you did the telesummit, the galas, and then what else did you do anything else to raise money?
No, it started. So it started off with the galas and the telesummit, and then it led to some of Stu's colleagues again, or friends that we have made, donating large chunks, because for our charity we really focus on small groups of donors, but also large donations. We don't really go after a smaller donation. We like to kind of, a lot of our friends who have donated 12,000 at a time. And we've had friends that have donated that 3 or 4 times. So our kind of how we advertise is, getting those key people that are our friends and believe in us, or have also met us through other things that we've done. And then they share what we're doing and what they're doing with the audience. We were just at Russell Brunson's event, ClickFunnels. Russell Russell and Stu go way back, and they did a product together as well, affiliate Inferno, like years and years ago.
That's amazing.
And so he's come to Kenya with us. 3 or 4 years ago, he came with his wife, Colette, beautiful people. And they, now ClickFunnels is growing, and we were part of their event just a few weeks ago. And they raised $51,000 for us in 3 days.
Oh,
I know.
my
And
gosh.
then we're going to Jeff Walker's product launch formula. We've been a part of his event now for 2 years. We're doing it again in 3 weeks. And we raised just over $200,000 at his event this past October. So we really
saw Stu post that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's exciting because Jeff has also been to Kenya with us, and he's, seen the school that he built the previous year. So we're just so thankful. I mean, it's all, and like I said earlier, I mean, it's relationships, and I'm so thankful for relationships and our friends and that community of people that are interested in helping others.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And I love that you bring those people to that location and say, hey, look, this is what you did. And it's so inspiring. So I recently last year I met Chris Farrell. And he shared that he went with you on one of those trips, and he showed me the incredible video. So share with me, how does that work? Like, as a donor, do they get to go to Kenya and spend time and build and work, or how does that program work?
Yeah, so that we've done it now. I think this is our 6th trip that's coming up this August. And we go every year. We only go once a year. I'm over about 2 or 3 times a year personally to kind of manage our team and check out new locations and stuff. But we do a donor trip once a year. And what it is an awesome 10-day trip. And you come in, you land, we meet as a group at a restaurant at one of the hotels. Then we kind of go out in our vans and we go to the community. And we don't stay in hotels. This is where me really comes in, because we rough it. But it's, it's tense. You're living with the community. You're having cold showers. There's no hot. Well, actually, no, sorry. There are hot showers, but they literally warm up the water with a fire and then put it above the shower, and you pull something and water comes down.
Wow.
So you really, you're roughing it in a sense for 3 days, but the experience that you get from connecting with that community, helping finish the school, seeing your classroom named, because they give a chance to name their classroom. So we have a lot of people. I think Chris named his George Farrell after his dad, I believe. But some people name them after their company or whoever. So they get to see that classroom, meet the students that are in there, kind of help with the building. And then so after those 3 or 4 days of roughing it, we then go back into Nairobi, do a tour of Nairobi, and then we go out on a safari, because you can't, Kenya is just amazing. You cannot go to Kenya and not see the beautiful people and then see the phenomenal wildlife. So we kind of pair the wildlife, the whole experience is all very different. Do you know what I mean? You have that community really bonding experience, and then you have the touristy, but still such a big part of what Kenya is. So that's how it works. About 10 days every trip. And usually we have between 16 to 20. I don't like to go over 20 because it keeps it more personable. It's a really emotional experience for a lot of people. I cry every time, but maybe I cry. But usually everybody is in tears. It's just really moving that they get to see what they've done. So
just you talking about it is it's amazing. It's I'm already emotional just hearing about it. This is incredible. So what will it take? I want to go. I want to go on one of those trips. So what will it take for a person to go? Is there a minimum donation? How does that work?
Yeah, so every year we usually take our donors as donated a class. So each class is about $12,500. And then they get to come on that trip with somebody else if they would like. And then we always save some of that trip for people that are doing group fundraisers and maybe haven't raised $12,500, but have shown that they really want to be a part of the community and help out. Because I realize every dollar makes a huge, huge impact. And I realize not everyone has 12,000 in their bank account or a huge email list or whatever that may be. So we like to open some of that trip to people that have donated or have shown that they really want to come on the trip. So usually it's people that donated a class, and then there's usually about 2 or 3 people that want to be a part of the community and see the kids in the school and stuff.
Amazing. And I noticed that Carrie Green, she was raising funds for you, I believe, and
Yeah.
I think she's coming with you on the next trip.
The next one, yeah, she is going. I'm getting married this summer. So we were talking about her coming, but then I think with the wedding and everything, so I think she's on to come next year. Another awesome entrepreneur.
Yes, she's incredible. So,
Yeah.
how do you organize that, or do you let the organizer do that? The whole collecting money, raising money for your charity.
Yeah.
Do they take control of all the little clicks, the websites, the donate buttons, or do you provide that for them? And how is a successful campaign? How does that work?
Yeah, so we're pretty small and grassroots. There's not a lot of us. We definitely don't have a huge team. As you know, my husband Stu runs tons of other stuff and has his own business. So he helps when he can with the charity. And then I'm on it pretty much full time. I have a part-time assistant. I think she's on the call. She's on the line now, but Carrie, she's been with us for a few months. So she helps me with assisting in different things. And she's been a huge help. We've grown a lot the past year. So we're kind of learning how to manage the growth too, but she helps with me part-time. And then our website, on our board, we have a couple of people that are really technical with stuff. So they're working on our new website right now, kind of volunteering their time. Wow. And then we have, so that's the Canadian North American staff. But then in our community in Kenya, we have one ground rep that's full-time, and he visits all the different communities and blogs on our schools and furthers the relationships for us. And then we also partner with an NGO called Volunteer International Community Development Africa, who is our partner. So without her, I couldn't do it either. So she has her own organization. So I send the money over, like I just sent, I think 25,000 over today. And then she will take that money and then she disperses it and pays the construction workers and pays Sam for me and kind of manages the projects too. We're very grassroots, and I believe so strongly in hiring the community, because if you don't have that bond or that relationship again with the community, and also that they have buy-in to what you're doing, I don't think it'll work. So our people that build our schools are from the community. They are from the community, and we've used the same kind of different people each time for different community, but we've had the same foreman or whatever that we've used. So
where did you find these amazing people in the community?
Well, this is what, Irene, who is my partner then, she is like the Mother Teresa of Kenya. Like she is like finding a needle in a haystack. So, when we started the organization, you always want to try and fix everything, and finding those relationships were hard. So now we have Irene. She's amazing. Like she helps me facilitate everything. So I met her through, again, when I was volunteering overseas. I met her, and then that's how that kind of relationship started. And then we hired Sam through video interviews that we did. And he's been with us for 2 years now, 2.5 years.
Amazing.
And he's been a great guy, yeah. So you got to keep those good people that you find and don't let them go.
That's incredible. Yeah. Well, wow. Thank you so much for sharing it. I'm so intrigued, and the audience has been loving this too as well. So, Amy, there are a few moms who want to open their own charity, and probably not as on a grand scale as you have, but what advice would you give them about starting out?
Yeah, I would definitely get clear on what you want to do. I know when we started the charity, we one of our first trips was actually to Ghana, and we arrived at this refugee camp at Christmas. This is one I took Stu to. It was Christmas, a refugee camp in Ghana, and we were volunteering at a school, and we just started the charity, and there was so much need, education, health, aid, AIDS. There was just so much need, and I have a big heart, and I think a lot of us do, that you want to help everything. But what happens is you start putting Band-Aids on stuff and you don't make any progress. So, as moms are thinking about what you want to do, I think the more clear that you get on what you want to do and how you're going to solve it, I think would be awesome, because we started big and wanted to do everything. And then we realized that we're not really making any progress. So now all we do is build schools, build classrooms, and then we invite other NGOs or other organizations to come in and build wells or do what they do well, because I don't know anything about building wells. So we invite other organizations to do it. So I think if you get clear on what you want to do and just immerse yourself in it, like I did kind of with the traveling. Like I traveled a lot and I still do. I'm so thankful for that. And, if you're in that world, you kind of get ideas for what you want to do, but definitely be clear and start somewhere. If that helps.
Yeah, no, that absolutely helps. Thank you so much. And so, I have a few questions that I also want to make sure that we cover. And I mean, Amy, this has been incredible. Like your story is incredible. And thank you so much for being so open and sharing everything. It's been so amazing. So
I'm an open book. Ask away.
Thank you so much. So you mentioned that Stu used and I keep going back to that because, mompreneurs, the marketing side of things is very important.
Yeah.
So besides that, what are some other strategies that you used to grow your charity? Also, like a secondary question, how did you get to partner up with all these all these people who put on all these incredible events?
Yeah, so when we started out, like I said, we did galas and stuff. And that, don't get me wrong, I mean, those galas raised, $14,000, which is in a sense another classroom. Like every dollar is significant. So just doing things in the community and involving your community. When we moved in the last year, but where we lived before was a very small community. And once you kind of get your cause out there, I think, and have an event, it's kind of funny because then other doors kind of begin to open up and people approach you and say, oh, I saw you do this. Can you be a part? Can you come to our church, or can you come to this event? Or, I have something I like to sell, but I would like to donate so much of the proceeds to the charity. So I think if you start off with, a big community thing, or kind of get your word out there as much as you can, and then some doors start to open. So for us, it was the gala that led to going to different churches to talk about our goals and what we wanted to do. And then that was how we started. And then I have a whole other program that involves teachers and kids and books, and again, more on a local level.
Can you talk about that? Is that Give to Write or Write to Give or something like that?
So I started Write to Give 5 years ago because I wasn't, like I said, I'm not always been an entrepreneur, and I've never really thought of myself as one until the last little bit. But I started Write to Give 5 years ago, or maybe it's 6 years ago. And I'm a teacher by trade. So I've taught grade 1 for like 10 years. And I saw so many organizations come in and want to raise money by selling chocolate bars and having hat days. And don't get me wrong, like awesome ways to create awareness, raise money. But as a teacher, I was like, this isn't connecting to the curriculum. Like there's not much meat to it. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just not enough. Like there should be more. So one night I kind of said to my husband, I'm like, I'm going to get kids to write books. I'm going to sell the books and the money will go to the charity, because kids love books and they love to write. So at that time I emailed a few good friends and I said, I have an idea. I'm going to start a story in the class. And then can you write the next part of the story? And then my other friend wrote the next part. So there's 4 classrooms that write these Write to Give books. And the 5th classrooms do the illustrations. And then we compile it all together and we sell the books. So we started the program, and that was through emailing. And then I grew it to use Wishlist Member, and I had a whole website. So today we've done over 125 books. We've involved like 6,000 students from like around the world. So now it's awesome because the internet is like, there's kids in school everywhere. So now we send books to, Cayman Islands, Japan, and all these kids are writing, and it inspires the reading and the writing, and it like links everything together. And we have a Write to Give day, and the kids meet the other authors of the books online, or they see where their money's gone through a presentation that we do. So it just brings like that whole reading, writing, more meat to it. But yeah, so I work on that. We just are printing our books right now.
Oh my
so
goodness.
That's a part of our charity too.
Okay. So it's so easy to go to Costco, buy a box of chocolates, and have the kids sell them. But what you're doing is really
Oh,
hard work. It's
no,
really
it's
hard work.
yeah, you know what though? I think when you're like I know there's other moms out there, when you're really passionate about
Yeah.
something, it's like I don't know, it just I just love it. Like there's nothing more than going to my schools and seeing those kids and seeing the smiles. It's contagious. And then you go to these kids that have written the Right to Give books and like they're so ecstatic because they're published authors, like, and
That's
that they bought the books for kids in Kenya, and the grandparents buy the books, and the
that's
aunts and the uncles and
incredible.
the charity.
So,
But
so okay, a child writes a book. Do you make multiple copies of the book and then how do you sell it?
yeah, so we started with a really kind of basic publisher out of Toronto. Again, that was me just Googling publishers. We didn't make any money off our first print because I
Hmm.
spent way too much money. And then we moved on to using Create Space, which is a part of Amazon for self-publishing books. So majority of our books are published through Amazon. So kids can find them on Amazon if they want to order multiple copies. And
Amazing.
then we recently, it's been 3 years, we partnered up with Scholastic Education Canada, and they publish one book a year for us and lay it out. And we have someone donate their time to print it. So on that one book, we make pure profit. On our other books, we sell them for 15, but we average about $10 from each book go to our costs.
That's
Yeah. So,
amazing. Amy, like,
so
what a way to think outside the box.
Well, I think you just got to connect. Like you just have to give value to someone, and then at the same time, it goes into a big bucket. Like, it's all about giving someone what they want or what they need, and giving that value, and then um, and then the kids in Kenya benefit from that. So,
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing
oh, that's
that.
okay.
So how can we get involved with Right to Give or with World Teacher Aid?
Yeah, so you can contact if you go to righttogive.org is our Right to Give site for any teachers. So any teachers that you can just send them to the site. We won't start doing the books. We do them once a year. So registration opens early January, and the kids work on the books February, part of March. And then right now we're just getting them into the publishing. So it takes about 4 months for the program to go through.
Hmm.
But I am a teacher. I did all the resources. So the teachers, everything is done for them because teachers are busy.
Yeah.
It's hard work, and they don't want to spend time trying to do stuff themselves. So I've got tons of templates and resources within our members area for that program. And then getting involved, give us an email. I mean, we've had people contact us that are doing fundraisers of their own and they want to donate part of it. We've had some mom entrepreneurs reach out and wanted to give some of their funds to the charity, and we give pictures and video or any way that we can help to promote the cause. And
Amazing.
so,
Amy, you're doing incredible work. Absolutely
thank
incredible
you.
work. So let's move away from that heartfelt story, which I don't want to move away from, but
No, that's okay.
so what challenges did you face when you were building the charity, when you were traveling? What were some challenges?
Mhm. Definitely our challenge in the last, I would say, year is growth. We started off where we were building about a school a year, and raising about $100,000 a year, and then in the last year and a half, we raised quite a bit of money, and just keeping up with that and staffing and being a mom and trying to juggle all the other stuff was difficult. So yeah, we have Carrie, and we're going to be hiring in the next few months to kind of bump up the position and have someone more full time. But just growing and managing that, and then also connecting with our donors and sharing our awesome stories of not just the kids in Kenya, but what our incredible people are doing for the charity for us. So, and getting that content on the blog and communicating with those donors, because that's fostering those relationships are crucial for our charity. And when you grow so fast, sometimes I'm just getting the money across, going to the bank, getting the money in, like talking to my accountant, making sure that everything's okay there, and managing everything. So managing the growth has been a bit difficult, but in creating systems, we're creating systems now, so things are moving a bit smoother. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
But how do you manage the time with the kids and building this charity?
Mhm. So uh, if you rewind a little bit, so I have two kids. I have a four, well, she'll be five next week, 5-year-old girl going on like 12. I'm sure you moms know what that means. Adorable. And then I have a little adopted guy from South Africa. We picked him up. We got him last year. So he's been with our family for a year. He's 2.
Sweet.
So, but rewind back to when Marla was 1, my daughter, our life was a bit insane. Stu was building wish list from his basement, and we were trying to start this charity, and the laundry would go through, I don't know how many times, like go to the laundry and I'd turn it on, walk away, come back a day later, and it was all smelly and gross. Wash it again, do the same thing. And so life was crazy. And Stu and I sat down about 3 years ago and we said, it doesn't feel good. Like, we're not spending quality time with our kids. Like, we're managing like all this stuff. And so we put Marla into a daycare, and I'll probably start crying with this. I went to pick her up one day and she was curled in a ball on the floor and totally zoned out. And I'm like, what's wrong with her? She's like, they said, she's just having a moment or something or whatever. And I'm like, no, this is not right. Like, she should not be curled up in a little ball by herself. Like, so I went in and I scooped her up and I just walked out, and I went in and I the next day I called and I paid online, or I paid over the phone. And then I found somebody that could help, a lady named Betty, beautiful lady. So she helped us for a little bit, but we were still struggling at home. Like, I hate cooking. I hate it. I can't cook if my life depended on it. I used to pay my brother to cook me breakfast for my parents. But I hate cooking and I hate laundry. And we hired help. We hired help about 3 years ago to come in, help with meal planning, prepping, grocery shopping, laundry. And it has been like night and day. Like, we have quality time now with our kids. I eat 10 times more healthier than I did 3 years ago. So that's really important for us. Like, you got to take care of your body. And if you don't take care of it, nobody else will. And to be a mom, like, I didn't feel right. So yeah, we hired help 3 years ago. Someone full time that helps us. And she's pretty much our house manager. She helps out with the kids occasionally, but they're both in Montessori school now. But she's still with us, and she makes amazing lunches. She does laundry. She helps me sometimes with the charity, like for packing the books up. And she is wonderful. And she hopefully won't go anywhere. She travels with us sometimes, and we take care of her, and she's part of our family. So
how did you find her?
So we found her through a service. So when we first hired her, she's a nanny then, but she's not really a nanny, if you know what I mean. Like, she's not with my kids that much. We hired her more for the housekeeping stuff. So we found her through a service. So we went through, like 4 or 5 people we interviewed, and it took us about 1.5 years to find somebody that we felt comfortable with. And then, so she's been with us now 3 years. Marla, my kids love her. She's a big, big part of our family. And we take her traveling, not all the time, but I just got back from a big trip, and we took her with us. And it's great because it's family time, but then Stu and I can escape for a date. And I don't have to worry about a babysitter. She's right there. So she's just part of the team. It's Team McLaren. We are all part of one thing to make better life. But yeah, so that's how we've done it.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's so important. Like, we're used to in our businesses outsourcing graphics, outsourcing social media, outsourcing all these things. But when it comes to our home, it's the same exact concept.
Oh, it definitely is. Stu, one of Stu's clients, Chris Carr, we were chatting the other day, and she was saying, she's so inspirational, first of all, for everything she's done.
She's incredible.
And she was talking to Stu, about what we do at home and stuff, not business. Well, business stuff, obviously, but then it always creeps into home life. And we said that we had hired someone, and she's like, we should look into that. So she had just hired someone to help with the stuff around the house. And she's like, oh my gosh, like, it is amazing. Like, why did I wait this long to do it? Because it is worth every single penny. The time that you get back and you're not doing the stuff that, you're not trying to talk to your daughter and trying to throw in laundry and count to 10 or practice her music. She comes home, computer's off, it's mom and dad time until dinner. And I don't know, for us it works. Maybe not for everybody, but I think you should just focus on the stuff you love and do the stuff that you like.
It's amazing. I feel like in our lives, like there comes a point where we're just like, this is enough. Like it's that low time and you're like, okay, we got to do something different. And I feel like for so many of us, that's what it comes down to. But I hope that, me and for the moms listening that take that advice and at the right time. And I know Ramit Sethi talks about this all the time too. He's like, hire somebody like for a little, $200 to $500 a month, start very low. But the response he gets from people is like, well, I can afford that, but I could invest the money into marketing or into my product development. And he's like, what? Like, no, like,
yeah. But I think as mom, it's hard for moms too. Like, I'll be the first to admit when we did it where we lived, I think she was the only, one of my friends had hired a nanny or hired somebody to do this kind of stuff. And it felt uncomfortable at first. Like, I was like, I never thought I would be somebody, that would have someone help me with lunches and, stuff that I'm not good at. And then now, like, hands down, like, and then there's nothing wrong with it. I think so many moms can be judgmental sometimes. Not everybody, but there's some moms out there that, it's okay with hiring somebody to do something you don't like. Why spend time if you can? And at that time when we hired Leanne, it was cheaper to hire her than put Marla into daycare full time. I guarantee we've obviously her work with her. There's lots of incentives and it's very different when it was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with hiring someone to make your life and quality of life better. Like, why struggle if you have to? So at first, it was hard for me. And I still, at times I'm like, oh, but then now for what it's given our family and the stress that has just like been thrown out the window.
That's
awesome.
That's
so bad.
Okay, I'm looking forward to doing that soon. And my husband has been tuning in here and there, so he's here. Hopefully he's listening.
And it doesn't have to be everything. Like for us, it's like she's full time, but start off small and maybe it's somebody to come in to clean your house, or maybe it's someone to drop off meals, or it doesn't have to be everything. Start off small and then see if it works or if it doesn't, and go slowly. Like.
Yeah, I love that. That's really great advice. Amy, our time unfortunately has come to an end.
Yeah, I was just noticing that.
Yeah, but I really appreciate you for taking the time and coming on and sharing your incredible story and sharing your challenges and your wins and how you've been able to manage everything. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks to everyone that has tuned in. And if I can help in any way, please send me an email. I'll be happy to help out.
Thank you so much, Amy. Have an amazing rest of the week, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, sounds good.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, what a beautiful and heartfelt interview. Thank you so much for being here and watching it along with us. Amy has such a big heart, and it's such an honor to have her on the Mompreneur Show. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. Please join us live next time, every single Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, for more lively conversations just like this one. I'm your host, Vicky Lashenko, and this is the show that features amazing stories of the most remarkable mompreneurs. I will see you next time.